3, 2, 1, 0.
The promised land.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It's Tuesday morning. We're here talking about the cheats that are Man City. Something that was, well, it's not even been a secret, really. Everybody's known everything that they've done for a long, long time. But the Premier League have been hiding behind the scenes and for 4 years have been building an investigation with over 100 FFP charges against Man City. Yesterday, the announcement came whilst we were live on stream together and we were reacting to it, but the story is a little bit more developed and we understand a bit more of it now. So what I want to do this morning is speak about it with you as a community, because I think it serves as a big warning about owners. It serves as a sort of, not the changing of the tide, but scrutiny. There's far more scrutiny now on owners in the Premier League than there ever has been. And we as Manchester United fans, well, I'm pretty sure we've got the brunt of it with the Glazers. But we are in the month where we are going to find out about Manchester United's new owners. So let's have a discussion here this morning about City's cheating. We'll dive into it in a bit more detail, running through the actual statements from the Premier League, the statements from Manchester City, and what the reaction has been. We'll speak about every single key aspect of that as a community. I'll run through, as I said, the warnings that it serves to Manchester United and how the situations are different. And it all ties into the revenues of the club. Then we'll speak about Harry Kane and Tottenham Hotspur, because apparently they don't want to sell to a Premier League rival. We'll speak about the Leeds game tomorrow night. We'll speak about Gary Neville's comments on Manchester United right now. It's going to be a busy show, as is always the case. And you can let me know what you think in the comments. But who's down here watching? Julie, good morning to you. Anthony, Stu, Lance, Carl. We've got Rob. We've got Kalechi, Man Kudos, Mr. S, Gary, Josh, I can see you there. T, I can see you there. Ant, I can see you there. Or as well. Bully. All the regular faces. Who's on Facebook? We've got Shane Wheeler. Good morning to you. James Bowie. Sean Lewis. Young Precious. We've got Adams Bundu. And we've got Derek. Good morning to every single one of you. First things first, by the way. It's Tuesday, which means, of course, one thing. It is the latest episode of the podcast. It was me. It was Bal. It was Neil. And it was Alex yesterday. And we were all speaking through, well, you can see there. Mason Greenwood was a big talking point in the conversation, as was the Casemiro red card, the games against Forest, the win over Palace, what we've got coming up. Little teaser, we've got the podcast itself, right, is something cool is coming with the podcast very soon. Right now, I would say the podcast is at level 1 with 35 episodes in, and it's been brilliant. But the podcast is about to be taken up another level. So if you'd like to listen to the podcast, I've left the link on Facebook for you. Let me quickly get the link here and I can leave it in the comments for you as well. It's available on all platforms, free to listen. Yeah, if you would leave a review, it will make a big, big difference. So thank you very much, everyone who has been listening to it so far. Varun, nice to see you there joining as a member. There was a super chat there from someone. Sam, let me read this one out for you. I'm United, don't get me wrong. And obviously City have bent a lot of the rules, but they have been screwed on occasion too, like when FFP came in and they were told they immediately needed to break even. Apologies for me if I don't have any sort of sympathy for anything that is happening to Manchester City right now. It's been coming. Look, Sam, you may be correct. There may be certain occasions where, I don't know, the rules haven't helped Man City. Well, that's what you get for doing what you've done over such a sustained period of time. Man, down here, wow, just look at that straight away. Gungshi and, is that Jay? Yeah, Jay, man. You two. There's so many godfathers in this channel. It's just like an absolute army of godfathers. But Jay and Gungshi both gift in 10 memberships. Honestly, if you're new to this community, you're going to love it here. Seriously. So make sure you do join in. All 20 of you who've just been gifted a membership, go to the community tab, join the members only group. And I'll be announcing probably, I reckon, later this week, if not early next week, I'll be announcing the new members only content that I've been working on for a while in terms of the right thing to do and when to do it. I'm going to be announcing that quite soon. So you're saying winning titles and a technicality is bittersweet. It's not bittersweet. It's just going to put a massive asterisk next to everything that they have done, next to everything that they have achieved. Quickly before we do move on to have that full conversation about City and what's gone on there. Yesterday was, of course, the Munich air disaster. Remembrance Day, 65th anniversary. Eric Ten Hag, Harry Maguire, and plenty of other Manchester United players were in attendance at the plaque outside Old Trafford for the Flowers of Manchester, as is the case every single year. And I wouldn't say it's great to see, but it's a poignant day to remember what's happened to this club previously, to understand where we are now, because your history shapes who you are as a person, and your history shapes who you are as a club. And yeah, every single year we talk about it, and so we should. And I shared my dissertation with you yesterday. I hope that you enjoyed that. If anybody who did read it anyway, I share it every single year. It's one of the pieces of work I'm really, really proud of. And weirdly, it's kind of what got me. It's my own history about how I got here, really, because without that dissertation that I did on Manchester United, I never really realized I really enjoyed writing and speaking about United. And that was what made me start the website, and sort of was the beginning of how we got here. Amazing, really. Man, look at that, man. Warren as well, Klaus, and all of you. I can't wait to do some sort of UPTV global meetup. That's the problem, though. Everyone's spread. Warren, I think you're in. Are you South Africa? I think you are. Gungshi, I think you're in Taiwan. Claus, I'm not sure where you are, or Jay. But big up to all of you. Henrik, I am going to be doing this, right? Where is it? This is also going to be something that I'm going to give to the community members. You're all going to decide every single week what mask you want on there. It's just I haven't got around to doing it yet. I'm a little bit busy. Oh, by the way, Matt, if you're here, big up to Matt from the podcast. He has lent me a few things. This shirt right there was hand given to Matt by Yapstam himself. That is a match-worn Yapstam shirt from the 99 season, I believe. I think it is. Look at that. With the Premier League champions badges on the... Look, Matt, what a shirt that is. But that is genuinely from the back of Yapstam's car. How's that for a story? But that's wicked. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Let's get this show on the road. Oh, man, what is going on? Alex, you've joined in as well with 10. Every single one of you, incredible. I've said it to you before. You're the reason that I'm going to be bringing on people to work with the channel, bringing on designers, bringing on people to help the channel go further and upwards. So big up to all of you. Everything that you bring in, everything that you gift, it's going to be put back into the channel. So thank you very much to everyone. Now let's speak about this, right? The main headline from the show. The Premier League and the statement that they released yesterday with all the charges against Man City. Effectively, what the Premier League has been doing is biding its time. Because this isn't the first time that Man City have been charged. They were charged by UEFA back in 2 years ago, I think it was. I think it was around about 2020. They were charged by UEFA for breaching FFP regulations. In that situation, there was something called time-barred charges. And according to UEFA's rules, anything that had happened longer than 5 years ago meant that they couldn't be used as part of these charges. And that protected City. That doesn't apply to this situation with the Premier League. And they have got over 100 different charges. Basically, the Premier League has been sat on this for a while, right? The Premier League's been sitting on this, just waiting and waiting and waiting for the right time to go, you know what? Now let's play our hand. Let's bring it public. And clearly, and this is something that we spoke about in the podcast yesterday in quite a bit of detail. It's like clearly the Premier League feels confident enough now to make this public, to make it official, to give Man City the opportunity to come back against it. And this was the statement that City released. Man City is surprised. Surprised by the issuing of these alleged breaches of the Premier League rules, particularly given the extensive engagement and vast amount of detailed materials the Premier League has been provided with. The club welcomes the review into this matter by an independent commission to impartially consider the comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence, it's a long old sentence, that exists in support of its position. As such, we look forward to this matter being put to rest once and for all. One thing I would say here, right? This is not going to be a quick resolution. I imagine this is going to go on now. Maybe not for as long as the Premier League has been conducting its investigation in 4 years. But I imagine this is going to get dragged out for a while. City will have the best lawyers in the world. And sometimes what lawyers are very good at is delaying. They'll be able to throw in certain questions and throw in certain things that will force another month or two of legislation and delays and X, Y, Z. And they'll be able to keep pushing this back further and further. Alex, you say, look, lawyers are going to love this. It really is. For a case, for an investigation that's 4 years in the making, the Premier League have to be confident. Have to be confident. I'm going to go down here. I don't know what's going on here this morning, man, because Dominic, you've joined in as well with 5 memberships. Peter and Varun have all gifted 5 memberships each. Man, this community, it is the best. It is absolutely the best. I'm actually going to ask you down here, right? And can you think about it before you leave your answer? Right? What punishment do you think City will get? I'll be interested to know where all of your opinions align, because of course there is a possibility they get nothing. They get a fine, points deducted. Oh well, nothing effectively would be a fine. Points deducted, relegated, title stripped. I mean, it could be more than one thing, right? It could be more than one thing. But if there are going to be 4 options, just for all intents and purposes, and a poll this morning, I apologize for everyone on Facebook. All intents and purposes, what you think this fine will be. Because look, of course, there is a possibility that City get away with it, right? I don't personally think that's the case. Again, we spoke about this in some depth on the podcast. And I think Henry Winter summed it up really well in this article here. Henry Winter, chief football writer for the Times. He said this: if Man City are found guilty, then the Premier League must make an example of them. And they absolutely have to. I think it's quite interesting and telling when you think about it, that the Premier League has gone after City like this. City won 4 out of the last 5 titles, by far and away the most successful recent team in Premier League history, the absolute cream of the crop. And the Premier League have been doing this behind the scenes for 4 years. Henry Winter's right, because and this is what I mean. If City are found guilty, this is the main thing, right? Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Alex, you're saying that they should get banned. Alex, you're saying, look, relegation's the best bet. Strip them of their titles. Look, Jonesy, you're saying that if, I'm saying hypothetical situation, if they get stripped of their titles, I think we get another 3 titles. 2012 with that fucking Aguero moment. Mourinho and Solskjaer. And I think Liverpool would get 3 as well. It'd be a fucking shame to win 3 titles, wouldn't it? Like after the fact. Like you don't get to celebrate it. It would just be like, oh, it's not 20 anymore, it's 23. And there's 3 titles that I could have watched and enjoyed in my lifetime that are taken away. It's Alan, you're not wrong here. Long transfer ban. You're saying a long transfer ban would really hurt them. I would actually disagree now. I don't think that would hurt them that much. There's a few super chats up here. I don't want to miss these. Let me quickly scroll back. I need to find a better way of actually keeping on top of these. 1 second there. There's one from Dean. You're saying they'll be charged 400 million. Yeah. United People's TV memberships. Take them down. Take them down, man. Bully, you're saying, just want to say I love your work and how it is growing for you, bud. Keep up the good work. Part of my morning routine now. Man, thank you very much, buddy. I keep saying thank you a million times to everybody. You as a community are helping make this what it is. That's why the conversation is so good here. And it's not just loads of people trolling and shouting. It's actually everybody wanting to have a real conversation about the news. And that's the purpose of the show. So you've made it what it is. Fatty is saying, what the chances City worm out of 115 charges? I understand a few, but not 115. That's a big thing for me, Fatty, as well. It's the scale of it. It's not as if the Premier League has come at them with a few charges. 115 different charges over a 9-year period with a 4-year investigation. It's mad. I don't think they can get away with that. Jibat, you're saying punishment should take into account what hurts the offender. Slapping them with a fine of even 100 million does nothing to them. They need to feel the pain. We all know full well that a financial fine does sweet FA. I think PSG got a 50 million fine once, didn't they? banning them from European competition. That's not their jurisdiction anymore. That's UEFA's, and they tried to do that, and they got that appealed. Henry Winter's right. If they're found guilty, an example has to be made of them. And I'm sorry, right? I don't care what Man City say. I really genuinely don't. It's so obvious what they've been. And this is the thing, right? They haven't exactly been smart about it. Like, let's have a look at the Money League from last year, right? This is the official. These were the global revenues of the top 20 clubs there, right? According to the Deloitte, I think it's called Deloitte Money League, right? Look who's number one. And bear in mind, I believe that Real Madrid won the Champions League that year. So you're saying that Manchester City, when this came out, we all laughed, but we were like, is that being serious? That Man City were top of that league ahead of European champions Real Madrid. And Real Madrid, we all know by far and away, well, it's Real Madrid, it's United, Barca and Liverpool, in my opinion, are the four biggest overall clubs globally. And City are just sitting there at the very, very top. It didn't make sense. It wasn't correct. And Colin Miller, he did a tweet yesterday, which absolutely, look, this is what we know has been happening this whole time. And this is where I say it would serve as a warning to whoever Manchester United's new owners are. Manchester City, owned by City Football Group, majority owned by the Abu Dhabi United Group, owned by the Deputy Prime Minister of the UAE, generating profit from a hotel owned by the government of Abu Dhabi. It's basically just moving. And this is what the accusations are all around, right? The two main charges that are going against Man City are one to do with apparently some sort of secret contract to Mancini behind. I don't really understand that one, if I'm being completely honest. Something to do with doubling his wage, his pay. Well, I don't know. That's a separate one. But the main charges all relate to revenues and the sources of the revenues. And this is an example of it. The fact that there have been companies, I mean, the Emirates itself, who have been sponsoring Man City, who have very direct and obvious ties to the owners. Sam, you're saying it's simple accounting, Sam. The government is pissed on how come City earns so much, but end up paying so little tax. That may well be one of the things that have pushed this investigation. Whatever the purpose or the reason as to why it's happened, it's correct. This has been needed for a long, long time. Paula, you're saying it's murky dealings. Jay, you're saying Sky has said no stripping of title or relegation as that has never happened. Dude, this has never happened. Right now, we are witnessing something unprecedented. The Premier League has never done this against any team. You can let me know in the comments below what would be a closest example of it, because this hasn't happened before. Warren, how you doing, buddy? You're saying, I think it could be far worse if you consider Chelsea's 2-window transfer embargo for 2 breaches. Also makes me question ownership from the UAE or Saudi. PSG and City with FFP red flags. Now, we've spoken about this for quite a long time as a community. Now, there was a comment there from, I can't remember who it was. Jay, you're saying that no relegation. This is from James Ducker here. I just can't help but laugh. I'm just enjoying it. Manchester City are not guaranteed a place in the Football League if they are expelled from the Premier League. Now, Paul, you're going to be bringing up the concept of Rangers. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know the full story behind the Rangers. I believe it was to do with, I know it's to do with finances. I think it was slightly to do with debt, misrepresentation in accounts. They ended up getting punished right back down to the bottom of the Scottish football tier system. They worked their way back up. Now Rangers are back in the top flight, but it took them years. I don't personally think that's going to happen with Man City. Let me see what you're saying on the poll here as to what you think the most likely outcome here is. So we've got 1,000 votes in the first 7 minutes. 37% of you think that they'll get points deducted. 23% but think nothing or a fine. 23% think relegation, and 17% think titles stripped. If we're being completely honest, a points deduction for breaching FFP over 100 times over a 9-year period can after a 4-year investigation to deduct points for one season, that doesn't seem relative to me. That doesn't seem relative to the scale of the cheating, which it is. It's cheating. They've inflated their books. As I said, you go here, City had the most revenue out of any club in the world. It didn't make any sense. And this is what I mean when I say this has to serve as a warning for Manchester United and for Manchester United's new owners. I'm going to read a few of your comments out down here. There's so many people, I suppose, interested in this whole topic. It's huge. It's monumental, as I said, and it's unprecedented. What has these charges that have come against City will be a watershed moment for everything that comes after. Now, in terms of the independent regulator, Rob Harris here confirming that the government is delaying that. Now, this is something that Gary Neville has been quite vocal about bringing a regulator into football because of owners like City's, because of owners like Chelsea's, because foreign ownership has become a massive thing in the Premier League. And it has completely changed the scope. It was Chelsea who started it with Abramovich in 2003, 3-4. Then it was City in 2008-9 with Abu Dhabi, and everything that's sort of followed since in a domino effect. And it's only getting worse and worse. That's why that independent regulator is needed. And that's why this is such a monumental thing here against City, because the Premier League has done this with a 4-year investigation themselves. And you're saying Super League, Spectre may temper any punishment. Let's not talk about Super League. We're having a good day. Sam, you're saying, I think they would do something like a points deduction over the next 9 years, 15 or 30 points per season. Man, they wouldn't do that. I mean, I wish they would. That'd be lovely. But I don't think they do anything on that scale. It's just I don't think that deducting points for one season is a relative punishment for a crime which was committed over a 9-year period. That doesn't really match up. But I don't know how the legal system works. Rob, relegate them to the Eredivisie. Jonathan, Sam, I think you're way too over your head about this. I believe the amount of money invested in City and the people back in the City group, I think it's going to head to them getting relegated. I would like to think that relegation is a genuine possibility here. I really, really do. And I personally don't think that's an outrageous thing to claim. They would come back up to the Premier League. That wouldn't be an issue, but they'd suffer the humiliation and the embarrassment of it, and they'd have to kind of restart because there'd be a lot of players that would leave. I personally feel that relegation would be the punishment that I think matches the crime, but I'm not a lawyer. And I'm a little bit biased. I'll be completely honest. But as I said, to go back down to what I was just talking about there, it does serve as a massive warning for Manchester United's new owners. We are in February, right? Ladies and gents, by the end of this month, we're probably going to know who our new owners are going to be, right? It's a conversation that we have been wanting to have for a long, long time. And this City situation is a massive warning. And just, it's so important that we get our new owners right. So important. We can, look, I've done so many videos. We've had so many debates and conversations about Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Apple, Amazon, Ineos, Harrison Blitzer in America, all different scales of US consortium investment, minority ownership, majority ownership. The one thing I would say here is this, and this is why I would say it's a different scenario and a situation, not slightly, but massively, between City and Manchester United. Now, it all relates back to this, relates back to the revenues. City's inflated revenues now topping the Deloitte Money League, more than Real Madrid. And revenues for Manchester United, despite how bad we've been doing, the revenues really have never been an issue. This is Manchester United revenues in hundreds of millions. Sorry, millions of euros. So look, in 2021-22, our revenue was 689 million, which I think was written on here. There you go. 689 million euros. And that's without new owners. That's without any sort of deal coming in to Manchester United that links our new owners with a company that they own or some mad shit. Whatever. That's the sort of stuff that City have done to inflate their own numbers. We don't need to inflate our own numbers. And this is quite a sort of a fundamental and important aspect to understand about our new owners is for a lot of United fans, when it comes to owners and the right owners and who they should be and shouldn't be, a lot of people just feel that we should be allowed to be a self-sustainable club. If we were in a position where we could actually spend more of the revenue that we generated, we wouldn't necessarily just need a sugar daddy to come in and just spunk millions and millions and millions into the club. If we could just simply spend the money that we generate. Now, I would say that's correct to a certain degree, but the way that City have changed football, the way that PSG have changed football, Chelsea have changed football, and the way that it's gone now, and with the numbers involved, I think you do need a little bit of oil money. Maybe not oil money per se, but you do need a serious amount of investment that I don't think can specifically just rely on revenues. Newcastle, of course, are going to come up and be probably the next version of City. But because of everything that the Premier League has done now, by charging them, the scrutiny is tighter than it ever used to be. Ben, you're completely right. I was going to mention that one there. Was it 200 million? I think it was. That was there are certain transfers that have happened. I'll tell you what, the Enzo Fernandez transfer that happened in January is going to have a big impact and bearing on what happens during the summer, because Enzo Fernandez went for what, 120 million to Chelsea. How much is Jude Bellingham worth now then? Easily in excess of 150 million. But at some point this February, right, we're going to find out who our new owners are likely to be, who the front runners are. We know that Ineos and Sejim, they're in, and they've formalized their interests. We still haven't got any confirmation of the actual bids being made, the prices being linked with it. But yeah, as much as I just want Manchester United to have competent owners who genuinely want to succeed, who have the ambition of winning silverware, who of course have the money to back that up, and also are willing to bring in the right people to work in the club. And look, for all their faults and the things that they've done and cheated and everything that City have done, two things that they've done extremely well is investing in the actual area itself. They've massively redeveloped that part of Manchester. And number two, they brought the right people to work in at a board level. And that's why City have kind of been so seamless. They created a fantastic footballing structure. Now, the shit they've been doing behind the scenes in terms of where that money's coming from, well, who could have predicted that there was some shady deals going on? Everybody. But yeah, for me, it does serve as a warning about be careful what you wish for. Because the scrutiny level on, hey, look, I wish that there was this level of scrutiny on owners before the Glazers actually took over our club, and we wouldn't have been thrown into this shower of shit mess that we've been in for 20 years. But instead, there wasn't. They were allowed to buy the club on a leverage loan, which we are still paying off, which is still over 600 million. And now I think there's anti-Glazer clauses in new ownerships. The old, what is it? Was it fit owners test? Whatever it is, that bollocks. But it does serve as a big warning. I personally hope the City get relegated. I really think Henry Winter's correct. Henry Winter is correct. There has to be an example made of them. And I don't personally think just a points deduction is enough. I don't personally feel they'll strip their titles. Although it's an option, as I said, I don't personally think they'll do that. I think instead of it, I think a punishment should be sort of something that damages their future rather than taints their past, if you know what I mean. They've already enjoyed anything that sort of takes it away, won't take away the memories that were all created for everybody involved in it at that time, even if you put an asterisk next to it. Whereas relegating them, deducting points for them over a good few years, something that affects their ability to impact the Premier League going forward, I think that would be a bigger punishment and better punishment. Sorry, I can't say your name. Shetton. You think relegation? At least Haaland wouldn't have to move house. Easy. Let me see what you're saying down here. Sivian saying, please read my super chat. Let's have a look up here. Oh, there it is. Clubs like City are to blame for inflating player prices. Nunes should also be investigating for posing as a striker. Poor bloke. Not poor bloke. It's just a shame. Nunes, I imagine if he'd gone to City, would probably be looking like a far better player. Or maybe not, because they're kind of struggling with Haaland a bit. But I always say this, that signings and foot players are representative of how their club is. Liverpool right now have lost so many of their big members of staff behind the scenes, and they're in a bit of turmoil. And now the players are looking like they're playing, like they're in turmoil. Players are symptomatic of the clubs they exist in. I've said that for a long time, and it's completely and utterly true. And it also bodes well for United, because everyone at United's got a big smile on their face. And I'm going to speak about Gary Neville's comments on that very, very soon. Mate, Varun down there, I think you've gifted 15 memberships today, man. What an absolute dude. Lovely to have you on board here, man. Thank you very, very much. It's really generous of you. It really, really is. Who are the lucky five there this time from Varun? Let me read your names out. We've got Durov, we've got Impact Craig, we've got Harand, we've got Dudasuk, and we've got Kim. Welcome aboard to all five of you. Man, I love this community. Let me see what else you're saying down here in the comments. I love reading this. Omar, you're saying, I agree, relegation plus fine, plus points deduction. Just do it all. Anthony, I don't think that Haaland is regretting his decision. He joined the best team in the league. He's scored how many goals this year? 23, 24. They're what? How many points off the top of the table? Haaland was never going to stay at City for a long time, but maybe it's going to be a shorter time than we all expected. If this sort of shit goes down, he is going to be like, Toodle Pip, I'm off to Real Madrid. Because that's going to happen at some point very, very soon. Desert Storm, United and Liverpool would both get 3 titles each. It wouldn't really change anything in that sense. It's just United would all of a sudden be on 23 instead of 20. Omar, you're saying, which player would you raid City for? Now, somebody asked me this yesterday. Let me know in the comments. Everybody type a name in right now, and I'll see which one pops up the most. Which player, if you're going to take one from Man City, who are you taking? Would you take Haaland? Would you take Foden? Would you take Rodri? Would you take Edison? If you're going to get one player from Man City in a free-for-all, who are you taking? You let me know in the comments, because I think it's a really interesting question. A couple of super chats here. Stevie saying, stripping titles doesn't do anything for anyone. Punishment should have an impact on City's future. And far better, you've articulated that a little bit better than I did in my little waffle, but that's exactly what I would do. Don't punish them for something they've already benefited and gained from. Punish them from being able to do that again in the future. That's what a punishment should be. Even if it's retrospective and looking back on stuff that's happened previously, it should affect their ability to do the same thing going forward. That would be a punishment. Jay, you're saying, do you think there will be stricter FFP given what happened to City and Chelsea are doing, especially to protect other leagues? That is, Jay, what you're seeing here, right, with this statement from the Premier League is effectively trying to take a stance. Because remember that the Premier League is its own brand in itself. And they do things to serve themselves better. They obviously feel that they need to do this, and they need to try and get a little bit of a hold of it. And I'll tell you what, it's a big danger, is American owners in Manchester, not in Manchester United, but American owners in the Premier League. If there's enough of them, they can start uniting together and working against the Premier League, start trying to change the rules to be more beneficial to them rather than the league itself. It's a very dangerous situation. But let me see what you're saying down here, right? If you're going to nick one player from City, who are you taking? Let me find. Let me see what names you're saying down there. Got Mahrez, Haaland. You got De Bruyne, KDB. Majority of you are saying Haaland. Quite a few of you are saying KDB. What are you saying? I'll be honest. There's no one down here who's actually saying the player that I think I'd probably say. Maybe I'm a little bit boring. It's either one of the two. KDB, De Bruyne, Rodri, Haaland, Mahrez. I personally would take, let me see if I can pull up a comment with his name in. I do love Grealish, I'll be honest, but Al, I think I agree with mate Joey. I think I'd take Rodri. I think if you're looking, Because I'm not just looking at the best player of that City team who'd be like, oh, just sign a bit. I'm saying which player would come into Manchester United and have the impact in an area where I think this team needs to develop. And it's probably going to be either Ederson or Rodri. I'm saying those two players in this particular, or Haaland. It's Ederson, Rodri, or Haaland. Shit, just take them all. We'll just have all three of them. Easy. You can say that about Rodri if you want, but that guy is an absolute playmaker from deep. My God, he is a fantastic footballer. But look, let's hope that City do get relegated. It's what we all want. It's what the football gods want. After, what is it? How many years have they had? 15 years now of just spending without anything. With spending without rules, just doing what they want, bringing everything that... This was coming. This was absolutely coming. But look, I don't think we're going to get any players from City. I just hope they get relegated. And as I say, to finalise that point, as Henry Winter said, if they're found guilty, they have to be made... An example has to be made of them. And with over 100 different charges over a 9-year period following a 4-year investigation, City are going to have some incredibly good lawyers to try and get out of that without any sort of repercussion. And unfortunately, this is going to take a long, long time. But I was thinking about this the other day. Do you think that Guardiola knew about this behind the scenes? Because he's been a moody git for a while. I mean, he kind of always is a moody git, but he's been particularly moody in these last, what would you say, 6 weeks or so? Obviously, with City not doing very well, but something seems to be going on behind the scenes. Not just Cancelo leaving and falling out with him, but maybe he knew about this all along. Maybe he did. Jay, you're saying, when will they get relegated? Hopefully sooner rather than later. John, you're saying they'll have 900 mil revenue in 2024 in the Championship with no fans in the stadium because all of their Newcastle fans have gone. Man, that'd be funny. I think there's something that people are saying that I've seen as well, is that quote from Guardiola saying that he would leave as soon as he finds out that the owners of Man City are lying to him, that he would leave. And I think that's what he said after the last time when they got away with the charges from UEFA. I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. I really am, and it's fucking deserved, because sport at the elite level is supposed to be about fair play. It's supposed to be a completely level playing field. You get one team against another team. You all train hard. One team comes out on top because they're just better. But when it comes to unfair advantages, it's financial doping is effectively what it is. And Man City have been doing it for 15 years. And it's fucked up football for so many of us. So many United fans that I speak to, so many good mates, have all sort of, I wouldn't say they've fallen out of love with the game, but there's, and it's not just sort of like old bloke complaining about, oh, it was better back in my day. But over the last 15 years or so, 20 years, if you want to go back to when Chelsea first came in, and Abramovich first came into the league, it completely and utterly changed the scope of football. And I wish it never happened, but it did. So I hope that they get their comeuppance. They have to. They really, really have to. Apparently, I missed a super chat. I'm going to quickly check this one out. Going up here. Let me see if I did miss it. Man, if I missed it, it was a long time ago. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry, buddy. If there is a super chat, it does not come up on here. I apologize, by the way. There are certain super chats. I think the blue super chats, not all of them pop up on the screen that I read. I don't read the YouTube comments like you read the YouTube comments. I look at it differently. So I apologize, because sometimes they don't actually show up for me. So I apologize about that. I did just have a look through there. Something I want to speak about in the future is this, because this is an interesting article that's come out from Gary Jacob in the Times, and it's about Harry Kane. And he's saying here that Tottenham Hotspur will not be selling Harry Kane to any English rival this summer. Let's quickly read a little bit of the article. Harry Kane will need to continue his quest to become the Premier League's record goalscorer at Spurs, as the club will not sell him to a rival. Kane has hinted he's open to reviving contract talks. Obviously, he nearly joined City before. But they're saying, look, Tottenham have never wanted to sell him to a rival. United have been linked with him, but they do not want to sell to anybody in the Premier League. Now, I want you to let me know what you think about this as a community, right? I'll bring up a few of your opinions up on screen, because there's two names, I believe. Well, as far as I feel, there's two names that are right at the top of the list as far as a new striker for Manchester United goes. And that's Harry Kane and Victor Osimhen. Two, I would say, different profiles of strikers. One in Harry Kane, who is now, he's got 200 Premier League goals to his name. He is one of the best strikers this Premier League has ever seen. Well, technically the second most prolific behind Alan Shearer currently. And then you got Victor Osimhen, who has been absolutely crushing it in Napoli for a couple of years. What is he, 24? I don't know, he might not even be 24. I think he's around about 24. So look. He's 24, bang on. Come on, go me. Victor Osimhen's 24. Technically got 6 years in his prime ahead of him. Harry Kane's already at that age. It's I'd say it's a debate. I don't think there's a particularly, I don't know, is there a clear and obvious right answer here? Because there's pros and cons. Hey, look, I think I've done a video on Harry Kane already. I haven't done any video specifically on Victor Osimhen just yet. But I think it's interesting to hear the idea that Spurs feel, have they got control over where Harry Kane goes? I suppose they do. He's got a year left on his contract, so they don't really have to sell into anyone. They don't want to. But let me see what you're saying down here. Anthony, you'll disagree with me saying there's no debate whatsoever. You're saying Osimhen all day long. Osimhen because he's got the age. Mo, you're saying Sesko. Hey, look, man, Sesko is, in my opinion, well, it's not an opinion. Out of all those three options, Kane, Osimhen, and Sesko's the one with more question marks after his name. He's a young guy. He could well come through and be that guy, but Osimhen and Kane far more better bets in terms of the immediate impact they can have on this team. Yeah, Hassan, you're going for Osimhen, but Ben, you're going for Harry Kane all day. Anthony, you're going for Osimhen. Osimhen's younger and fits in. Kane to United guarantees us a league title next season. Kane comes with more guarantees of Premier League goals than anybody possibly could by comparison. Victor Osimhen clearly is an extremely talented striker, but Kane does have more guarantees in the short term. And I think it's that split between thinking about the short term to trying to thinking about the overall long term, right? Because if Kane, look, Alex, you just left a comment there, right? I was about to say it. If Kane comes in to Manchester United in the summer, stays fit for a full season, you're probably looking at a Robin Van Persie type signing. Were you all pissed off that we signed Robin Van Persie when we signed Robin Van Persie? No. Man United lost the league on goal difference, went out and signed the best striker in the league, despite the fact that I think he was 20. Was he 29, 30 when he joined us? I think he was 29. I can't remember exactly. And Van Persie was incredible. Won the league for us that year. Harry Kane's injury record really is a thing of the past. I kind of done that in a separate video. It's really an interesting conversation. Daryl, I think that's a fair point there. Yeah, Van Persie didn't come with that price tag, but Van Persie came and won us the league. And what do we ultimately want to do next year? Win the league. Robert, you're saying Kane's best days are behind him. I'm not sure, man. Kane looks fucking good. Kane looks really good. This is a good comment here from Shetton saying Kane's still got 3 to 4 seasons left at the top level. Type one number in. How many years do you genuinely feel? How many years do you genuinely feel Kane has got at the very top level in the Premier League? And I'm talking scoring 20 plus quite easily. How many seasons do you reckon he's got left in him? And you're saying what happened after we signed Van Persie? Dude, Fergie retired. That's what happened after Van Persie. Robin must have been pissed. He's like, finally, come. Everything's what? Oh, you're leaving. Oh, great. And obviously it all collapsed and went downhill after that. Robin Van Persie, I imagine the next season would have been equally as lethal and impressive for Manchester United if Fergie had stayed at the club. I don't think those two things are particularly linked. Kane will be elite 6 years still. He doesn't rely on pace. He uses his mind to get in the space. Right, let's see what you're saying. Charlie, you think 3 years left at the top level. Jordan, you're saying 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 0. Okay. 2, 3, 2, 2. I think at the very, very least, Alex, you're going for 2 as well. Jessie, you're saying 4. I think at the absolute very least, Harry Kane gives you two years of utter elite level goal scorer. And inside that 2-year period, you might be able to sign somebody else. Omar, you're saying 2 years because of his legs. I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm very torn on this one. I think I need to do more research myself, right? I need to do more research into Victor Osimhen, really look at the profile, try and speak to maybe a couple of Napoli fans or Napoli journalists. Any members who can help me source those people, let me know in the members chat. I love to do interviews like that to really get the insight into the players. Because I think that's the sort of thing that we need to learn more of. Harry Kane, we know, is a guarantee in the Premier League. A guarantee that no one else can match. But Victor Osimhen, if it worked, you can understand why a lot of people really like that idea. You really can. Mr. Creed, man, look at that. I think I don't remember seeing your name down there, gifting it, man. Look at that. Everybody joins in. It's incredible. Mr. Creed, you brought in Nima, Alex, Michael, Ibrahim, Niall, Alan, top plays. So many of you, man. One absolute don. It really, really is. Mushtay, you think that Kane wins wins us the league next season? Kane has never been quick. Most of Kane's goals come from the perfect parts. Hey, look, Kane is just a very, very, very intelligent footballer. No one's particularly saying that Kane is fast enough. That's not really his game. Osimhen will want Madrid if he comes to us after 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah, probably would. I think it would be foolish to rule out the idea of Harry Kane being a good signing for Manchester United. I think he would be. I just don't know which one would be the better one off the top of my head. But according to Gary Jacob, Spurs are not interested in selling Kane to a rival. I'm not sure how much control over it they're going to have. Now, there's a couple more quick talking points. I find this is a very interesting talking point, right? So I'm going to have a little conversation at the end of the show about Marcel Sabitzer coming into midfield to replace Casemiro. Now, I'm going to quickly check to make sure this article hasn't been updated. 1 second there. Maybe it has. No, it's not. Because I found this really interesting, right? This is on Manchester United's official website. This is the early team news for Leeds clash, right? It was released this morning at 8 a.m., right? Early team news. And the wording here about Casemiro is very interesting. Manchester United meet Leeds on Wednesday. The Reds close the gap on Arsenal. Look, the rearranged game is set to be the first one missed by Casemiro if his 3-match suspension for the red card on Saturday is confirmed. Now, I don't know whether that is just a poor choice of words from Adam Marshall when he's writing that, or whether that means maybe Manchester United quietly behind the scenes have appealed against Casemiro's red card. I don't know whether there is, I think there might be an Erik ten Hag press conference today. I think there might be. There should be. But maybe quietly behind the scenes, Manchester United have appealed against the Casemiro red. As I said, I don't know whether that's just a poor choice of words from Adam Marshall. I might be looking into that a little bit too much. But maybe United quietly have appealed against Casemiro's red. Now, we spoke about it in quite a lot of depth in the podcast this week. I think it probably got more focused than anything else. And I don't really think that United should be appealing that. Now, apparently, you know how you can get a ban extended if you appeal and it's considered frivolous. I don't know whether there's whether this appeal would be considered frivolous, because it will be Man United going back to asking for the different camera angles to be used and looked at. I personally feel that in real time, in what the referee saw in the game, I think it kind of made sense. I don't think that the red card was particularly wrong. In the context of just looking what the referee saw on the monitor, I think he made the right decision. Now that we've looked at all the different angles, we've seen everything that Ayu's done with Fred. We've seen the angle from behind where it's obvious that he's not throttling. He's not got his hands and he's not pressing his thumbs into Will Hughes' neck to try and choke him. He's not. His hands are kind of half on the collar, half on the neck. But I don't know whether or not that's an interesting choice of words. We'll find that one out, won't we? I think down there, mate. Jay, you do it. Jay, you're gifting 5 again, man. Absolute dons. Absolute dons. I can't. I mean, I'm gonna hire an army at this point. It's gonna be an army of member fueled employments. It's wicked. I can't wait to take it all further and upwards. I really, really can't. And you're saying he didn't make the decision in real time. Those angles were available to VAR. Question is, why would the ref not get what? Again, we spoke about this on the pod. It's there has to be I suppose, a time limit on how long a ref can take, and how many angles he's going to be shown and how many angles he sees. It's such a I don't know. I stand by my opinion that I think in real time, for what the ref saw, it made sense for that red to happen. Retrospectively, I don't know whether there's enough there for United to get that appeal won. And I don't know whether or not Man United have appealed, but it's just interesting on the website. It says if his 3-match suspension is confirmed. So let's find out. There's a comment there from somebody, Stephen. So we've got nearly 3,000 of you watching. If you can, please just drop a like on the video. I'd love to have you as part of the community as well. So make sure you do subscribe. But speaking about Man City here today is a really important thing. Gungshi as well, man. Godfather indeed. I need better nicknames for all of you, because you're all just ridiculous Godfathers. And not that Devil, Phantom, Scott, and Caston. You are the lucky 5 there. Man, Don. Everybody, by the way, at the end of every show, you know full well you can fire in your comments and questions. Anything you want to ask me, I'll try and answer a few of them. What other talking points did I have on here today? I hope you enjoyed the video I did yesterday. I did a little bit of an analysis on Man United's second goal against Crystal Palace, because for me, it really was the blueprint of moving forward. I think the game against Spurs was a blueprint of how this team can press as a unit for 90 minutes. And for me, that second goal against Crystal Palace, that's the one that's going to be going on the wall. There can be like a video of that playing in the dressing room at Carrington. That's what we should be doing every single week. That's where we're aiming towards. That's the end game right there, to do that every single week. I hope you enjoyed that one. There was a comment there. Yeah, Bully. Look, we are saying it. Look, I'm not calling Mason Greenwood Lord Voldemort anymore. We can indeed name Mason Greenwood. We spoke, and I said it yesterday, and I won't be speaking about the case anymore here live with you in the community. You can ask me as many times as you want. I'm not mentioning it. I'm not speaking about the Greenwood situation now until we get a statement from Manchester United. At that point, when the statement comes out, I'll publish a video. We can have a comment about it as a community, all right? But until that point, I won't be getting dragged into any Mason Greenwood conversations. I think there's no point speaking about, I said it yesterday, no point speaking about any speculation of all the players are unhappy, all the staff are unhappy, and anything that's published, that's just a weird one. I don't think you should be doing it, and I won't be doing it here on the channel. And we go down there, and every once in a while you crop up and you fucking give 50 memberships with the world's greatest secret. I need to get your secret card. Let me know what bank you're with. I need to know, because I need that secret card. That is a secret card? Secret card. Man, you dropped in 50. Dude, I can't wait to show you where we're going to take this channel this year. Honestly, you are all making it happen. Or there's so many. And you've got Josh, you've just gifted 5 as well. Fuck. I must be over 100 gifted memberships here. There cannot be any other community that does this on YouTube. There really, really can't be. There really, really can't be. Man, absolute Don. You've been here since the very, very start. Me and you. I think me and was it like 4 or 5 of the early members' arms. I'm bringing that back, by the way. Me and you will always have a chat about the games. Absolute Don. Incredible generosity. It really, really is. And there was a super chat there from Mo saying Sabitzer is on 3 Champions League yellows and gets carried over, so he'll miss the first Barca game. Huh? Who said that? Is that true? Is that true? I've not read that at all. I think Sabitzer will be making his debut. I'm going to be doing my starting 11 video that's going to be going out at lunchtime today. I think this man made a very impressive cameo against Crystal Palace. And my, how we need him. How we need him. But you're an absolute icon. Icon living indeed. Gungshi, Jay, Josh, Varun, you've gifted some today. There's too many different names from all the people who have gifted it. It's a wonderful place to be. And I hope you all enjoy it here as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. I think the community we've built really is great. It goes to show that if you work at something, you can surround yourself with people, all like-minded individuals who all just genuinely want a good conversation about United, about getting reliable news. And hey, I'm proud that I've been able to help build this community, but you are the reason it is what it is. Nathan, you're saying there's no place like home, best community ever. And Ming, you're saying, what about both? One after the summer, after another. You're talking about Harry Kane and Victor Osimhen, and that's a lot of spending. But look, if you've got new owners, I suppose why not? I can't wait for what's going to be coming on this month, because we're going to be getting new owners. Well, maybe not by the end of this month, but we should certainly know what's going to be happening. Something quickly about the Leeds game. Obviously, Jessie Marsch has got sacked. Have you seen who's going to be in charge? I mean, that is really quite funny. Chris Armas is going to be in charge of Leeds for the game tomorrow night. Chris Armas, who, of course, was Ralph Rangnick's assistant manager. Chris Armas, who was only brought into Leeds last week. Now, I know full well that, you get the new manager bounce. Yeah, you get the new manager bounce when you got a new manager. You don't get a new manager bounce when you come to Old Trafford, when we've won 13 in a row, and you've got Michael Skubula, Paco Gallardo, and Chris Armas as a triple caretaker manager. This Leeds team needs to be put to the sword. I'm talking like a 6-1. United need to... Look, Leeds are down and they are wounded. And Ellen Road on Sunday is going to be a very, very hard game. This game tomorrow night, though, just slap them up. Absolutely. They're sitting there wounded, asking for help. Just slap them and just stamp on them. Maybe not stamp on them, but definitely slap them a couple of times. I think it should be a 6-1. I think it should be an absolute destruction of Leeds. Absolutely just twist a knife. That's what I think. Anyway, Chris Armas, he's going to be in the dugout. That really is quite hilarious. But what a show today, man. What a show. And as I said, this really is an unprecedented situation. The team who has won the Premier League out of 4 of the last 5 years have been charged by the Premier League with over 100 breaches of FFP rules over a 9-year period following a 4-year investigation. I don't think City can worm out of this one. I think there will be a punishment. Let me see what the results of the poll were, right? We've got 3,000 votes. Jeez, look at that. That might be one of the biggest ones so far. 33% of you, well, 2,800. I may have inflated that slightly. I'm sorry. 33% of you think there'll be points deducted. 27% of you think they'll get relegated. 23% of you think nothing or a fine, and 18% of you think that titles will be stripped. I would like to think that the punishment should fit the crime. I don't think just a simple points reduction matches 100 charges over a 9-year period. That's what I think. So anyway, but look, I'm going to be here tomorrow morning, as I always am, 10 a.m. And in tomorrow's show, we'll run through my starting 11. We'll talk about predictions for the game tomorrow night. I'm going to get my starting 11 video out at lunchtime today. That'll be up within around about an hour. Hey, look, if you don't follow us on any other platform, I do daily short videos now on TikTok, on Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels. So if you'd like to, please follow us on those platforms. I do YouTube Shorts as well. I'm taking this channel as far upwards as possible, and you as a community help making it happen. Or one more time, absolute ledge, man. Pleasure to have you on board as a mod and an OG since the very, very start, along with Ant, along with T, along with Josh, along with Takeoff, along with any other name. Big up the community, big up where we're going in the future, and big up City getting relegated. And you're like, Sam, stop talking about City, man. Like, stop enjoying it so much. And I'm like,
we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway.
Yes, indeed. Have a great day.